And actually, I got passed by a mom in a minivan who did not realize we were racing. I am going to tell you about the worst California Mille entry of all time. The California Mille, in case you don't know, it's this very expensive, very exclusive 5-day high-end vintage Ferrari road rally based out of California. Starts at the Fairmont Hotel. I grew up in this town called Stockton, California. It's the middle of nowhere in California. And unbeknownst to me, growing up in the same town at the same time as this guy, Dick McClure, but we never crossed paths in this town. It was only when we went out and started individually doing these high-end vintage rallies that we ran into each other. And as soon as I met Dick, and as soon as Dick met me, we both realized, like, here's a guy who really appreciates crappy cars, just the same way that I do. And our first event together, Dick built a Mark 7 Jaguar that he had pulled out of a junkyard. And his goal for the build was that nothing on the car could come from any Jaguar supplier, period. So the floors were all rusted out. He got the pickup truck bed from a Toyota Hilux in Pick and Pull, cut it out and welded that in for the floors. The upholstery was all gone, so we went to Beverly Fabrics and got some green tartan. This car was spectacular. And so I thought, Dick and I can do business together. He's my kind of guy. 20 years ago, my friend Dick McClure and I, about 2 months before the California Mille, we were at this warehouse in Oakland, and it was magically full of all of these totally destroyed old cars. And one of them was an early Triumph TR2. I think it was even a long door. It was a small mouth TR2. And we pulled it out, and Dick said, I'm going to enter this car in the California Mille, and if they accept it, I will restore it between now and the event. At this point, it's now 7 weeks away. Sends off the application. And the application includes a picture of Dick standing next to the shell of a junk TR2 saying, I will restore this car. So we get in. So I go off and do other stuff. I don't want any part of this, right? But I show up, I pay my half of the entry fee, and I show up at the start of the California Mille, first thing in the morning, 5 a.m., and I get in the car, I get on the passenger side, and I put my hands on the dashboard, and I leave 8 fingerprints in the paint because it's still wet. It hasn't cured yet. Dick said, oh yeah, don't do that. Like, until tonight, don't touch the car. So we get in the thing, and it's barely held together. It's zip ties, and it's wire, and it's rattling, but it runs, and it looks great. So we take off. It's a 5-day rally. The first day, we made it as far as Mendocino, and halfway through the day, the electrical system completely packed up. But we coasted into a parking lot where there was Kragen and said to the guy, well, we need a generator for a 1955 Triumph TR3. It's not going to happen. Cobbled together some generator and made it back up. Second day, we're coming down Oildale. There are some switchbacks. It's a real fast cliff. And actually, I got passed by a mom in a minivan who did not realize we were racing. I knew it. She didn't know it. She creamed me. But as I'm going down, I'm starting to think, well, you know what, Dick? This car's pretty great. Oversteers a little bit. Uh-oh. And the rear wheel passed us on the passenger side, just right down the cliff. So we got that sorted out by the end of the day. The next day, we're heading down south. We're on the Avenue of the Giants. Very spectacular, and there's Ferraris going past us, and Maserati A6Gs, and we're in this horrible little car. And I notice, I'm driving again, and every time I turn left, I hear this weird buzzing noise. Oh, what the hell is it? Don't think much of it. We pull over, we open the hood, and I notice there's these little chips coming out of the fan. It's like rounded out. I'm like, how is the cross member moving? That doesn't make any sense at all, but it's hitting the fan. Oh well, I bolt it back up, keep driving. And I realized about an hour later, and we're hauling, I say, I don't think the cross member is moving. I think the engine is falling out. And exactly at that moment, clang! It absolutely fell out of the car. Dick revealed that, well, I was in a hurry and I didn't have time to actually get the real bolts for this thing. So I was also putting a deck on the back of my house. And so those were bolts from the deck project. So that's probably why they broke. So then we had to put the engine back in. On the last day, for the last dinner, we got it all worked out. We were having a great time. The car's running great. Pull into the parking lot on the final leg. I'm driving again. I don't know why this is always happening to me. And I pull in, stop the car, and I put my hand on the wheel to get out of it, and the entire steering wheel comes off. The hub is still there, and the spokes are still there, but the rim completely came off the car. So the next morning after the big celebratory dinner, and we all survived, and we thought this was the greatest thing ever, Dick is driving the car on I-5 back to Stockton, California, and he's doing about 80 miles an hour, and he just thinks it's the greatest thing in the world. And the hood, which on a TR2 is just held on by 2 little Zeus fasteners, pops up, hits him on the head, gives him a concussion right across here. The hinges at the back start vibrating. Whang! The whole hood flies off the car, circle, 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 hits another car in traffic on the way back, bounces off the side of the road. And just, I want no part of that. And my rallying with Dick, in a way, created the 24 Hours of Lemons, because Dick and I were doing all of these events, and we both realized the only time you really had a memorable, incredible, fun week on these events was when everything went wrong. If you got in your car and it just ran like the hammers and you got to the end and you had a glass of wine, well, you know, that seems great at the time, but you don't remember it. You don't have good stories out of it. And the ones where we just had the time of our lives was where stuff was falling off. And the great thing about Dick is with his cars, stuff is always falling off. So we were always having a great time. Now, eventually, Dick and I graduated, and we ran a 1936 MG TA, I think it was a TA, race car. This thing was spectacular. And we start from the Fairmont, and it's pouring down rain, and we're really pleased with ourselves because they start oldest car first. We're like third in line for this event. We get to Van Ness. We're going down Van Ness on our way to the Golden Gate Bridge. In front of us is a Maserati Grand Prix car, pre-war. Spectacular thing, and we're coming down, and Dick turns to me and he says, I can't stop. So, gee, Dick, well, what do you mean? Because there's a $4 million Maserati right ahead of us, so I think you should stop. He goes, well, I'm trying, but I'm pushing on the brake and nothing is happening. And we're in the fast lanes, 3 lanes of traffic, and like Moses parting the Red Sea, these giant SUVs on either side of us start, we want no part of that. We're getting out of here. And that opens up a hole. And Dick just, and he shoots across 2 lanes of traffic on Van Ness, crashes into the curb. I think he might have mowed over a shrub, stops the car without totaling this Maserati Grand Prix car. Well, it turns out, see, Dick lives in Stockton. Stockton is in the valley. Valleys are flat. He thought the brakes were great. I mean, they're cable brakes, right? And he said, oh, well, they stopped the car. How bad can they be? Well, 3 out of the 4 had been frozen for 20 years. We just didn't know until we got onto a hill. That was an exciting trip.
We'd like to thank Transparent by Glassparency for supporting the VINwiki YouTube channel this month. Transparent just released the first system to allow customers to buy wheel and tire, dent and ding, or key fob replacement warranties direct from their phone or computer. The days of having to overpay at a dealership and having no other options are over. So you can visit transparentwarranty.com, enter your vehicle and your zip code, no personal information, no hassle, and see what coverage is available for you. So be sure to check them out today.